In my opinion, every class should have one really good survival perk tied to their role abilities. Bulwark has his banner that gives him contested health. Sniper can restore all contested health with a cloak. Vanguard has 2 healing perks on enemy execution. Then there's Assault, who really struggles without the jump hack and certain weapons. Tactical, who is a glass cannon, but has basically no defensive perks. And Heavy, who gets melee as prestige for some reason. Aw, come on. Melee Heavy's fun. Has some of the worst perks I've ever seen. What? 15% more damage and no heat if both teammates are dead. Oh, right. Yeah, his last stand perks. I think they could be adjusted. I agree with that. I do think they age pretty poorly. Dude, honestly, in hard stratagems, sometimes if you're the last man standing, that just means you're dead. So I would like to see them buff those perks, maybe. But, okay, let's go back on who... Oh, yeah, Tactical. Tactical has basically no defensive perks. So with Tactical, specifically, it's Fortitude and Resilience. His defensive perks are more health and more healing from Stims, which I guess is okay. But the truth is, the devs, I think, for hard stratagems took out Stims. I mean, you can get Stims from crates, but I haven't seen any static spawning Stims. So, like, the one survivability perk I had for Tactical might not be relevant in hard stratagems. Which is kind of painful to think about, to be completely honest. I've seen multiple people, and myself I've noticed as well, that there has been slower stim spawns, to be nice about it. To be pessimistic about it, I genuinely think the devs took stims out of hard stratagems outside of crates, which is insane. Which is insane. So yeah, part of me definitely agrees that classes need better ways to survive, but it's pretty interesting. Considering the fact that the devs would take stims out of hard stratagems, can we really feel good about calling Invigorating Icon overpowered? You know what I mean? It's like, it's the one way we heal now. Which is kind of, well, in hard stratagems specifically. So it's kind of funny to look at it that way, where it's like, well, yeah, it's very strong, but it honestly, it shouldn't even be required, but now it kind of is, so... It effectively is actually in a worse spot because of it, because now it feels even extra overpowered because it's like the only way we heal. And yeah, to be completely honest, I think we do need survivability in hard stratagems at some point. So it's like, do you always have to have a bulwark now? Do you always need unmatched zeal? Hey, do you always need Bonds of Brotherhood? I mean, Bonds of Brotherhood might even age worse in hard stratagems considering the lack of stims. However, if you consider the functionality of Bonds of Brotherhood, that actually means stims go further. So even if you get 1 or 2 stims from crates, that means you can easily heal 1 or 2 mortal wounds. So I think this is definitely a tricky subject at the moment because we don't really have any confirmed information on stims, but it definitely feels like the devs took stims out of hard stratagems, or at least most of their spawns. So, dude, I don't know. On paper, this is really rough because... like a while ago, months ago, maybe even closer to launch, the devs said Invigorating Icon was overpowered. But then they take out stims. So it's like they have this point of, hey, we don't want you guys to rely on Invigorating Icon, but then they take out stims and effectively make us rely on Invigorating Icon. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, right? I think it would be cool, instead of general health regeneration, to give all classes a unique way to restore health. Akin to the first 3 classes. This would preserve class identity and I guess make it a bit more fun, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm certainly not a top tier player and have only cleared a handful of absolute operations. See, I mean, this player's on absolute. Survivability is going to get a lot worse in hard stratagems if the theory of the devs taking stims out of hard stratagems is true. I've seen a fair amount of you guys mention this, so yeah, I definitely wanted to bring up this subject because I think that could definitely be a bit tricky. And yeah, when it comes to Assault's survivability, I'm not too concerned with healing anymore. I think his contested health perk is actually very good. I'm concerned with his ammo regeneration. I'm concerned with Vanguard's ammo regeneration now too, to be completely honest. I think both Assault and Vanguard deserve ammo regeneration in some capacity. Dude, it doesn't make sense. How does a Bulwark have ammo regeneration before the Vanguard? I don't get that one at all, man. I could be wrong. But yes, when it comes to survivability in this game, it's gonna get pretty tricky. And when it comes to tactical specifically, I think the possible change of the Pyroblast healing is going to play a part. And if Pyroblast healing is overpowered and the devs nerf it or don't apply it at all, which I think it should be applied in some capacity, I think they should buff Physiology. Tactical's contested health perk is so laughably bad, considering how fast contested health can drain. It doesn't really matter if I get more contested health based on one shot, you know what I mean? I think they really need to adjust Tactical survivability. I think Assault and Vanguard needs ammo regeneration, and Tactical needs something. I think the Pyroblast change actually would have been helpful, but it potentially could be overpowered. I'm not too concerned with how strong the Pyroblast healing can be, because when I was using it with Heavy on normal mode, I noticed the chip damage does build up. However, if you build towards Pyroblast healing with Tactical, like if you brought Bulwark with advanced conditioning, if you just adjusted the Tactical to really take advantage of the Pyroblast healing, then maybe it can be overpowered. But personally, I have a hard time putting it on the same level as the launch grenade launcher. But still, I understand the elements of the overpowered elements of the Pyroblast. Yeah, it can potentially get out of hand. But we will see. We will see. I think we're still all on the same page, though. Tactical is a glass cannon, and I'm not too sure how well that will age. So, hey, let's go into the comments. Let's see if anyone has any good ideas. Let's see if people feel the same way. But, yeah, survivability, regardless of what class you're using, is going to feel weirder in patch 11, considering in hard stratagems we may see no stims. Tactical's unlimited ammo and equipment is enough for the class. He's got to have some sort of downsides. Okay. I mean, dude, look, I definitely agree that Tactical's a good class. I'm not saying Tactical's bad and he needs help. I'm not really saying that. I am pointing out, though, basically the discrepancy between lack of stims in hard stratagem and survivability perks in general. I do think people are going to want to see some improvement in that area for classes that can't heal themselves. Now, for Assault, the devs definitely gave him a nice contested health perk. However, I think the Assault's contested health perk is stronger than Physiology, the perk for Tactical that gives you extra contested health regeneration for range damage. Contested health just fades way too fast, so if you get in a couple shots, cool, it heals you a little bit more, but you're still losing a lot of your contested health. So, honestly, when it comes to contested health regeneration, I think how fast or how slow contested health actually fades, I think that's a larger impact than how fast you can actually heal your contested health. So I would like to see Physiology get buffed in some sort of capacity. But I do agree with Tactical being very strong regardless. So, I don't know. We will see. We will see how the devs end up adjusting any of this stuff. I really hope the devs understand that we don't have to survive on perks if we actually have stim spawns. But I guess, you know, maybe in hard stratagems, the devs wanted to adjust it just in case, you know, we randomly get 10 stims, because that is a condition. There is a condition where you can just get 10 stims. So maybe that's a factor. But then it's like, are conditions really supposed to be considered for our builds now, though? You know what I mean? That feels weird. I really wouldn't like balancing the game around a RNG condition that we might not see. You know what I mean? Assault and Heavy don't really have bad survivability. You're only looking at contested health, but kind of ignoring their armor regenerating skills. Oh, also Heavy has a giant shield. Not to mention that they can still recover their contested health very quickly. I mean, they can. Dude, you know what? That's fair. Look, the Assault's new contested health perk, I think, is a good perk for survivability. I think the devs did carefully buff Assault in a good spot. As far as, like, regenerating your contested health very quickly, sure. But if you run out of ammo, you're in a rough spot. Not all melee weapons can regenerate contested health quickly. You really need a slam for a melee weapon to regenerate your contested health, which, yeah, you know what? That's a good way to survive with Assault. Just keep slamming. Yeah, with Heavy, I'm not too concerned with his survivability at all, to be honest. Assault has Gunstrike armor, has several perks that give him damage resistances, and of course has really good contested health recovery on ground pounds. And there's also a few weapon perks that gives armor on getting like 10 kills. And Assault has one of the best hyper armor perks in the game, Adrenaline Boost. Also, just such raw damage output that he is more than capable of killing a lot of things before they can hurt him to begin with. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to add. Look, when it comes to Assault class, I will push for ammo regeneration on the class because I do strongly think he needs it in certain circumstances, but in most cases, yes, this is how it definitely works. But in like hard siege mode or hard stratagems, you're definitely going to find yourself losing out on ammo. The heavy has his Iron Halo. Guys, I'm actually about to skip the heavy part of this, not for any like disrespectful reason. I'm just not convinced heavy needs help for survivability, to be completely honest. Wait, hold on. Does he mention Bonds of Brotherhood? No, dude. Wait, no. Right here. Heavy has a perk that heals his teammates completely on revives. Huge. But we need stims for that. So, dude, honestly, yeah. The hard stratagems, the stim economy, it's going to be interesting. I think it should be fine. But if it really is no static stims on hard stratagems, man, there is going to be some adjusting. But yeah, strategic stand is really good as well. So, and sheer damage output, fair points. I'm just, again, I don't think heavy needs help with survivability. Tactical is definitely the squishiest of the three. Yeah. Also has the ability to turn a boss fight into a cutscene. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, I mean, fair. Crazy damage output. His, along with heavies, has the best contested health regeneration per shot. Okay. I'm not convinced this is something that we should rely on when it comes to survivability, just because contested health really does fade quickly. But fair. Look, physiology should be buffed. There's not a moment where I want to pick physiology over secure stockpile or even aligned aim in some cases. Tactical also has one of the best hyper armor perks in the game, the same one as assault. Okay, is hyper armor really a factor of survivability though? I feel like hyper armor is great for trades, but like, yeah, you're still taking damage with it. It's just you're trying to trade with the hyper armor. So yes, you may not have the best tools for healing, but you do have ways to regenerate that health or prevent taking the health damage to begin with. Heavy and tactical especially really don't need more buffs. They're already some of the most broken classes in the game. The only thing holding them back is that they can't heal. And even then, I've seen too many videos of heavy just simply out-damaging any damage they take. Yeah, with their heavy plasma, multi-melta. Very fair. The only thing holding them back is they can't heal. So, alright, let's do this off the top of my head. You have a class, you have a team, you have tactical, heavy, and assault. So, let's say you have physiology, bonds or brotherhood, and then what does the assault pick for this, right? Maybe, hey, you know what? Let's give him some ability recharge or something. I think the survivability there is fine enough, but yeah, you definitely rely on healing your mortal wounds with stims. So, see, dude, if Bonds or Brotherhood starts to become irrelevant because of stim economy, I'm gonna be so upset, man. I'm gonna be so upset. But yeah, to be honest, right now, patch 10, Bonds of Brotherhood should get the job done within that team comp. I'm convinced that, this is a really good comment, I'm convinced that the only thing the Assault needs is armor regeneration still. But yeah, I'm not too convinced that Assault needs healing anymore, which is interesting. So hey, you know what? Maybe survivability is in a better spot than I thought. Assault has garbage defensive perks. Ground Pound is restricted to 30% maximum contested health. Dude, okay, wait, hold on. Now, since we're on the subject of contested health, survivability, all of that, can we just stop, like, capping contested health regeneration at all? Like, isn't that another way we could approach this? Because how annoying is it to get a gun strike and for whatever reason it just not heal you, regardless of the target? Sometimes I hit a gun strike on a major, and yeah, you'll get like a little bit of contested health back. And on the subject of ground pound, it shouldn't be restricted at all. It's a ground pound. It is your skill. It's you're basically ulting. You know what I mean? So, dude, that's silly. Yeah, that's silly. That's silly. I agree. They should unrestrict that 100%. I think that's probably a large portion of why survivability is so weird, is because certain things are just capped. And it's like really weird stuff too, like gun strikes. Yeah, again, gun strikes should definitely just heal you. There's no reason why you should be able to catch a gaunt in the air and fully heal your contested health, but if you gun strike them, you don't get anything. You know what I mean? You need a little bit more. I do, like, at the very least, I think it is a little bit consistent, where it's like, oh, if you get a gun strike on a healthier target, you should regenerate more contested health. But I have a hard time believing that's even the case, or maybe it's bugged, who knows. Range damage far outweighs melee contested health regeneration. It's still death by a million cuts. Vanguard and Bulwark, who are frontliners, have healing perks and huge amounts of damage resistance. That Assault just doesn't compete. That's true. Vanguard's damage resistance is very nice. The only thing I think for Vanguard, I think Vanguard needs ammo regeneration. I really want to see Vanguard with ammo regeneration because of the 5-round burst instigator. That's going to pair very well. Dude, yeah, I can't wait for that. I really do hope Vanguard gets some adjustments to that. But yeah, dude, honestly, the Assault definitely could use some damage resistant buffs, man. I agree with that. I actually agree with that. Dude, yeah. It's not all healing. It's not all healing and stim packs. Sometimes we just need damage resistance and more contested health regeneration, you know? That's... Dude, yeah. Uncap the heals you can get from Slam. That's wild. That should not be restricted. I think there are two ways. You can give every class a way to heal, or you give no class a way to heal. Only then you can balance the game. If it's balanced for classes without healing, then classes with healing are too strong. And if it's balanced for classes with healing, then classes without healing are struggling. If you play with your friends, it does not matter that much because you can build a well-rounded team, but with randoms, it's something else. This is definitely an interesting way to look at it, and ultimately, I think the devs are in a pretty good spot with balance as far as, you know, team comps and everything like that. However, if they do end up taking stims away for hard stratagems, you're definitely going to notice some discrepancy between teams that are like Bulwark, Vanguard, heavy against teams that are like Sniper, Tactical, Assault. Like, obviously, one is going to be stronger than the other because one has Invigorating Icon and Bonds of Brotherhood. So it's like you're surviving a lot more than the classes who don't have any healing. No, it makes sense. The issue for me is if the devs really do take stims out of hard stratagems, classes like Tactical do have a Prestige perk that give them extra healing on stims. You know, the Bulwark, I think, has the same team perk as well. I just realized how useful, I'm sorry, how useless that is on Bulwark, considering they have Icon. That's, okay. Regardless, I could be wrong about that, but still, yeah, I feel like a lot of the survivability issues from one way or the other is either the devs or us putting a stick in our bike and then us just falling over and then asking for healing, or the devs asking to take stims out of the game. It just, I don't know. For me personally, I think survivability should be nudged in the sense of how the devs balanced the Assault class. It was a couple patches till they really figured out, hey, he just needs some more contested health regeneration, and yeah, hopefully his contested health can, you know, set for a longer time to give him more time to heal himself, basically. So yeah, if the drain for the Assault class contested health is adjusted, I still think, why would they do that if they also limited his slams? You know what I mean? So here's another thing they need to nudge. They need to make sure that slams can fully heal their contested health if that's available. So yeah, I guess a lot of this stuff, it's much cleaner for balance if you do little buffs here and there. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think we all agree that Tactical Physiology, that team perk, is probably not very good. But then we have the Pyroblaster, that the healing on that is potentially very good. So yeah, how the devs kind of adjust that, we will see. I do think Pyroblaster should heal, but maybe it shouldn't heal as fast as it did. But if that's the case, then why do we have Physiology? You know what I mean? So I don't know. We will see. We will see how this all ends up working out. But I feel like we're basically talking in circles when it comes to this survivability situation, because yeah, the devs find other ways to nerf us if they buff us in survivability aspects. Like if the Assault class can actually refill more of his contested health, the devs are just going to take stims out of hard stratagems. It doesn't. I don't know. I think I really do think the devs put too much emphasis on healing is overpowered, where there's still a lot of things in this game, like stun locking and grabs and everything that we talk about a lot, that can effectively take you from full health to 0. So, I don't know. I think this is definitely still a very interesting conversation, but the reason why there's a lot of circumstance in the air right now is because we may see less stims and hard stratagems. So this problem may get a little bit worse. We will see. We will see how the balance ends up working out. But yeah, ultimately, I don't think you have to worry about survivability unless you are playing in like hard siege mode, maybe siege mode in general. I would say stratagems in siege mode. If you're playing operations, you should be fine. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. Let me know in the comments if you think any classes still need some survivability. Do you think the game is going to become unbalanced because of healing? We will see. We will see. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. And thanks for watching.